So, guys, I've been thinking about My Hero once again, and I've been thinking about the main villain, All for One, and I believe that he is very dumb within his own series. He's written to as a smart character, but in all actuality, he is a very stupid character, and I would like to go through that today. So let's get it. You know what I mean? Let's talk about this dumbass. So, first of all, let's go over what All for One has at his disposal. As the symbol of evil, he has a quirk that allows him to steal other people's quirks. Yeah, we all know that, right? Let's not get any pleasantries, right? He has a quirk that allows him to steal other people's quirks. He has a laundry list of quirks, and I'm going to probably show this here, the wiki, and it contains things like shock absorption and redirection, all stuff he showed off in the fight with All Might and a few others. You know what I mean? Like scan and everything. He has all of those. He has Dr. Ujiko and all of his Nomu, his complete and utter beck and call. He has all of his connections to the criminal underworld, especially with his seniority in the criminal underworld. Even if they don't know him by the name All for One, they may know a guy named Jimmy Joe Timmy Toes, and he knows a guy named Sanders, and, it's All for Ones, a lot of aliases and stuff, but he would have pull within the criminal world, is what I'm saying. What is I'm trying to say? Vast amounts of wealth. We know he has in North America and all over the world a very connected ring of spies and other sort of criminals, like I just said. And he has full access to at least the Japanese quirk directory that tells every quirk and I'm guessing a couple of page long description of what it can do, if it is classified as something that is a little too dangerous for civilian use or whatever, right? Even though quirk, you know what I mean. It is a list of quirks, so they know what it is and they can research and do things. So those are what he has on top of his League of Villains. Now, of course, I'm going to be getting into spoilers for My Hero Academia and My Hero Academia Vigilantes. I have not read Team Up Missions or Smash, so if there's anything that contradicts me, please leave it in the comments, and let's get into it. Goals. So, just in case we are not clear on the goals of All for One, you might not have watched the series, not watched it in a minute, only been in the manga, stuff like that, or anime, stuff like that. I'm majority anime, and I looked ahead in the manga a bit, but here we go, you know what I mean. So, he wishes to own everything in the world relates to production and means of production and information, because that is what the world runs on. Information, production. If he controls all of that, he will rule the world no matter what. This was not his original plan up until pretty recently, about 20 or so years ago. He figured out that the information age was degrading the idea of the ultimate evil. Yes, you can be the ultimate evil over here, over there, but if we can put it all back together, it doesn't really matter. We'll build something to defeat you eventually. All my information over time builds up, and boom, So, he decided this is what his plan was. He wished to own all that stuff so that he brings fear into people's hearts by rent, basically. Where's my money? This is my stuff. If you want it, if you want to eat, you're gonna listen to me. You're gonna have fear in your heart because of me. Say if Walmart, all the Walmarts in the world just close their doors, that would cause a panic. I mean, a lot of people depend on Walmart to eat. If All For One owns the Walmart and you start getting a little antsy, he just takes all the stuff and he says, all right, what happens? That's basically what he wants. You control basically anything with this stuff. So, let's get into what he would need logistically to make this work, right? Within a pretty realistic world that My Hero is. They're taking into account insurance, they take into account like logistics of things, how things are built, industry, everything like that. It's a pretty realistic world. So I think it's fair to say that this is what it is. You know what I mean? He would need a workforce. Like, first of all, he'd need that would be able to work over long periods of time, not be influenced, not be, like unionizing or anything. Like anything that would get into his way of making what he's trying to make, doing what he wants to do, try to take over, try to subvert him behind his back, anything like that. He would need a workforce like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, of course he could have, enslave a country or something like that, but there's a lot to that, and like, you got to make sure it repopulates itself and everything like that. But there are far more simpler ways with quirks to ensure that this happens. All he needs is a couple swaths of land, which, if you're the ultimate evil, you have land. You can obtain land legally with money because you have money. Like, come on, guys. You know what it is. Hold up. My notes right here. A resource, resource quirks, like anything that allows him to create a resource or to manipulate a resource into a way that is far better than normal. Like, such as quirks like the one girl has in My Hero that allows her to make objects out of calories. Quirks such as weld. You know what I mean? Quirks such as, overhaul. Anything like that. The cement guy's quirk. Stuff like that allows him to, create the resources or not need the resources because you have the ability to do so. Like, I don't need a welding kit if I can weld things together at the atomic level with my bare hands. That will, I'm going to need precise measurements, but that's fine. We can get that. We can get precision stuff as we go. You know what I mean? Being able to just create things out of calories. And if that could be very useful, but we'll go on to that in a little bit. Just things like that. And quirks that allow him to grab information easier, any type of surveillance / memory, like enhancing quirks, anything that would allow him to retain information, obtain it very easily. Yes, like all of that. He would need that, especially with the fact coming along that quirks are getting stronger over time in the verse. And it is a principle called quirk singularity. And quirk singularity is whenever you have a quirk and you mix it with another quirk and it gets slightly stronger over time. Well, this slight stronger over time was okay 100 years ago, but now it's become a problem that kids are not even able to control the quirks. And they're being born with explosives. It's a ticking time bomb around when they turn 8. You know what I mean? So, like, Aerie has the ability to rewind things to their states beyond their states. Like, she turned her dad into pre-conception. Not even like a sperm cell that just poofed out of existence by accident as a child. These quirks are getting dangerous, they're getting powerful, and they're getting to the point that even if they do not wish to go against All For One, they would be a problem and of themselves. If you have a person walking around turning people into literal nothing to preconception, then, we have a problem. So, with my next points that I'm about to get into, it will be the quirks and quirks that would allow him to get these resources and that he would have access to. So, get ready for that. Alright. So, that was a pretty formal introduction of one of these, but I felt it was needed so that we could lay the groundwork to put this man to rest. Because all for one, I don't know what you're doing, but you sure ain't trying to take over the world. Or you're maybe on some Saturday morning cartoon shoot. I think the Shredder would have a better time doing this. But, let's not just remember we want Shredder, though. So, within Japan, the main place he having, this man has a little place called UA. And that is the equivalent of a Little Caesars, bro. He looks at the board. Let's see what he got. This man's got Aizawa, Erasure. Some I've heard argue that Erasure wasn't as good back then. But, my boy, you just need to learn how to stare for a little bit. And you're a mega brain genius. So learning how to stare and maybe putting on some glasses, my guy, it don't matter. Like he could do that, anytime from time as I was 16, or when this man was literally homeless, like living in a little thing, like, ooh, I'm gonna sit in my sleeping bag, ooh, but you better get out that sleeping bag and get in this coffin. That's a much softer bed for you and more appealing. Cause guess what? You ain't living to the night. Motherfucker, I'm Rasputin in this shit. Bumping the night type shit. Right? I don't understand why he didn't go after this quirk. He had infinite opportunities, and it wouldn't be hard. We assume he gets looked at, he gets erasure taken, but I would assume, one, he would never be seen. He would just walk up behind him in a crowded area, hold his head in a certain direction, take his quirk, and then walk away. And I would be like, hey, yo, who are you? What did you just do to me? And he'd be like, the music would start playing, he'd be like, ooh, and he'd fade away like Kira or some shit. And then the next time Aizawa tries to activate his quirk, he'd be fucked. He'd be like, oh no, where's my quirk? And All Might will walk in and be like, what did you see? When did this happen? Because I know exactly what this is. Like, bro. And very simply, not taking erasure at any of these points has cost him so much in the final war. They are literally farming Aizawa with multiple quirks, like quirk users and stuff like that, so that All for One just can't fight because they can't allow him to. And it's like, it wouldn't be hard to steal it, at all. Just throw a flashbang at him. Literally just blind him. Cool, he gets blinded on a hero mission, and he's sitting in a little hospital bed, and he's like, man, this sucks. And then all of a sudden, All for One just teleports there, and he's like, yeah, I'm a symbol of evil. I had the cameras turned off. Come here, boy. I'm Dr. Whatever. I'm gonna help you real quick. So, after he goes, he could do that. We got all these other quirks. We got Overhaul. Wouldn't be hard to get. The Psyche is
pretty well known in the underworld, like decently, especially to your level, to which they thought you were fucking dead. My guy, you come in, be like, come with me for a couple of days, bro. This is not a question. And it's like, all right, all for one. You sit him down, put him under sedation, take his quirk. GG, you come back, give him back his quirk, be like, all right, go away. And teleport him back to his house. And he's like, what was that about? It's like, yeah, I just made a copy of your quirk, bro. I went on Napster and made a fucking copy of your quirk. And I'm gonna just put that shit on the internet. So, that's just a thing he could do. He could roll up, grab twice his quirk, because we know he made a copy of it, but he didn't give it to himself or Shigaraki. Bro, imagine an army of Shigarakis walking around, just dapping up everybody. Oh, I just touched you. Oop, it's gone. Oh, that's so sad. Go ahead and cry, little baby boy. But I got this army of evil. I got a workforce for my capitalist utopia shit. I got all of this on lock. Doppelganger. Banger quirk. You got good old making stuff out of calories. If you got a bunch of clones, get one of them fat or have them eat some Popeyes. And GG, you got a whole nuclear reactor right there. Why didn't you do that, bro? You got some depleted uranium right there. You just chuck it through a wall. Go ahead. Grab weld as well, because then you can fuse things at the molecular level. So, as your capitalist utopia, the right to fix things, that ain't happening no more, because that's fused at the molecular level. Have fun dealing with that. No, putting this in a little heated thing so that the glue will fall apart or nothing. This is the iPhone 36. You ain't fixing that for nothing. Buy a new phone or come to me. That's the two choices. That's it. We gotta have, New Order could just take that, throw a little gas bomb in her house when she's sleeping. GG, she's like, oh no, I can't do anything because I'm asleep. Ooh. Get put in a wacky pack, kid. You just go ahead, get put in that wacky pack. We don't need you, right? Hardening, anything like that, so you have extra bone density. And if you take hardening or Tetsu's quirk and combine that with your clones, yeah, they have bones made of steel. So what is it to break all for one's bones? And then what if it's also they're made of steel on top of his other durability things? He has shock absorption and redirection. Bro, your bones ain't breaking ever unless you get hit with, the United States of Smash, Texas Smash, something absolutely insane. All Might's gonna use up all his power, and one clone's gonna be dead. And then you're gonna walk out, and it's like, yeah, All Might, anyway, get put in a pack, I'm gonna look at you, I'm gonna have a whole gang of clones. Ain't nothing gonna happen to me, because I'm that guy, bro. Also, I got overhauls quirk, so say goodbye to your legs. I'm gonna make you cripple. I'm gonna put you in a wheelchair. And guess what? I got a wheelchair right here. I made it from calories. Get in the chair, old man. Bruh. These are just some of the quirks he could be taken. These are just right here. Even as a crippled old man with a little white short support machine. Bro, go ahead and take them. My guy, they right there. Imagine, take compressed, copy his quirk. Because I know you probably got a whole copies of all the League of Visions. The villains. Not Visions. A Star Wars thing. But you take his quirk. It's a beautiful quirk, muy caliente type shit. Right? I don't know what I just said. If I just swore at somebody, oh well. You take his quirk, And imagine you get any other size manipulation quirk. Like, you can shrink a building with stamina or something, or any physical object, and you make a bunch of tiny no moves. And as your capitalist super mega all for one, right? And you got it looking like a Polly Pocket or, a Mighty Max or something like that, and you pop it open, and you're like, oh, hey, what you have for me? Like, and you bigabize it or whatever, and it's like, well, I got all this stuff we made, all these materials and stuff that we made with, being able to make infinite materials out of calories, and we got like a growing power, like to grow food or something, oh well. And workplace accidents are an all-time low because everyone's made of steel. So, don't have to worry about that. We have shock everything. We keep the maintenance up because we can afford to. Because all we need is like one Popeye's chicken wing, right? Is like 6 months of food if cured properly. You can have Sun Eater, so that could affect things as well. It's like, you eat something like a really smart animal, you get big brain. All for one just goes on a bit of a diet, or he has like a supplement pill that's full of all the DNA of like, oh, here's horse hooves and bird wings, so I can fly around if I feel like it, just in case. And the tortoise thing, like, he pops a pill out of his little Polly Pocket, puts it back in a compressor, and says, alright, thank you. Puts it in his pocket, puts it in a little case, or replaces one of his teeth with it, or something. Just any little thing like that could be pretty useful. As you were trying to make your capitalist utopia, and you got, Overhaul being able to shift molecules around and do all that stuff, weld, putting stuff together. You should have won 15 years ago, my guy. Well, okay, not 15 years ago, because Overhaul wouldn't have developed score. You should have won 5 years ago. It would have not been hard, my guy. But yeah, man, like, very simply, just start winning, man. But that's probably just gonna be the end of the video, because like I can't really say much. I could probably say a lot more, but I want to just give a channel update. I have some things in pipeline, probably a few more My Hero videos down the line. I have some Ghostface stuff coming out, Stream 6 coming out, and I'd like to talk about him because I think he's kind of bullshit. I joined the Omni Lanterns, so we do a podcast every Wednesday night, I believe. And come in and check that out if you like, communal content. Get a lot of scaling, a lot of story, a lot of stuff. Big shout outs to my boy Spicy for the good thumbnail and, helping me out with this video, and everybody else who did. And, yeah, I'm probably just gonna head out. So, good night, everybody.